Morning to the Morning Hustle. I'm the Fort Worth Playboy.
And I'm my Playboys Bunny.
And welcome. We're going to be going through some of the top topics on Twitter that have been in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Again, the Morning Hustle is our chance to kind of like see you, answer questions, expand on things that are on the timeline that doesn't always work in written form.
Yeah.
And just like when people come to our timeline or any of our products, we try to give long-term, old school, hard information.
Yeah.
You know, things that move guys from, where a girl is a stranger to in your bed in a systematic manner, in a predictable manner. But this gives us a chance to talk about more topical things, more of the pop culture. So, and this is kind of like a follow-up because she has a 7 a.m. show every day, Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Sunday. So you can kind of get a little bit of the what's going on.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
So.
But this is truly more like our news show. It's like,
yeah, we go a little bit deeper.
The stuff that's hot topics right now.
Yeah, it's like 60 minutes once a week.
That's us.
That's not bad.
That's us. We're practically.
That's awesome. I never thought about it going harder like that. That's good. But no, because we unfortunately talked about celebrities more than I noticed that last time. I was like, yeah,
that's just comical because even talking about pop culture and us, the two do not go.
I know.
So today's maxim, number 8, always assume she's a slut. It helps kick the legs out from under the pedestal you will be tempted to put her on, and it is more often than not true.
Girls have always been with more men than you think they have. They've done more than you think they have. They are dirtier than
oh my.
Quite often it's the exact opposite. But what this really does is it allows you to approach her and speak to her and treat her in a relaxed manner.
Yeah.
Which is the better looking they are, the more they appreciate it because they're so used to having their asses kissed or getting stuck talking to some boring guy. Whereas if you're teasing her and having fun with her, because she's a slut, you will tend to do better with those girls.
That's very true.
And every once in a while, guys say, and I noticed this yesterday that somebody said that they're running like kind of asshole game. And that a lot of girls would ghost. And that's okay because these girls are upset. We got to remember, game doesn't work on damaged girls.
Yeah.
But generally, in your mind, know she's done a lot of stuff that she would never admit to. And that's just the nature of girls, So, once you really dig down, you're like, no shit,
Which goes hand in hand with our first little post that we were going to talk about today.
Okay.
So you had posted, normal men always underestimate the depravity of girls and the fucked up things they'll do for an alpha they're fucking.
And this was from
Kyle. Was based on a Kyle Mao. Women will do a lot for good sex. When I lived in LA, girls would text me while they were on dates with guys, telling me how bored they were and asking if they could come over after. I'd tell them to order food to go, put it on his tab, bring it, and they always would. Any guy,
you don't even have to be that experienced.
No.
All you have to have is kind of like a tighter relationship with one or two girls that is more casual, like fun buddies or friends with benefits, where she's still looking for a boyfriend. She'll go out with some guy, feel him out, go to dinner, and she's on like a 3-date, leave that day and come over to your house and have sex.
Yeah.
Or this is what really messes guy is when we mention where you have a nooner with a girl and you go, hey, what are you doing tonight? You know, just out of, you know, what are you doing? Or are you working? And she's like, no, I got a date.
Yeah.
And you just came inside her, and she'll be out on a date in 4 hours.
Exactly.
You know, so that's why we also say don't go down on a girl you don't know, because you don't know.
It's true.
That's the deal. But this and Kyle, he was in LA at the time, and then he went to Ukraine and established a new business.
Oh, is that Kyle Trouble?
Yeah, that's Kyle
I didn't
Trouble.
realize that was the same person.
Yeah, that's why I trust the source. But
that's pretty funny.
But it's a very, you know, tame manner, like just bringing you food, coming over to see you after they've been out on a date.
Yeah.
I mean, these are normal things. Girls, when you're on the inside track, or, you know, I guess there was a guy that coined the term the secret society, which is a little bit more advanced. But when you kind of see the other side of women, you realize that almost all of them can act that way. I mean, they will under the right circumstances. Exactly. They all will. But that they don't, what is presented isn't what you actually get. You know, what you see is not what you get. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of guys that never experience this.
And that's by design.
Yeah. Yeah. It's by design. It's so society can function.
Well, and make no mistake, like, you know, we've shared stories of like your rotation girls and things like that. Like the ones who were looking for Mr. Right, but you were Mr.
Right now.
Right in the,
yeah, exactly.
The right place, the right time, but not a forever thing.
No.
You know, but they would never present that in the areas where they're looking to actually nail down.
No. I mean, the guys wouldn't have it. You know what I mean? Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So along those same lines, a continuation of that is that post from Adam Lane Smith. And whoo.
And you and Adam, you guys have gone back and forth before, right?
Yeah. I think the world of his content, he's got a lot of knowledge backing up the stuff he said.
Super solid guy.
He is. So he said, and I actually follow him on TikTok. I posted a video on TikTok telling women to look their male partner in the eyes and let them know she respects him. These are the responses I got. Now, one thing that we found funny was, I don't think because Adam is a pretty solid guy. He's a family man. Would you say he's as almost as mainstream as you can get? Yeah,
in our little world?
I would. And so I don't think he deals with a lot of pushback necessarily.
No.
I could be completely wrong, but the pushback that he got was pretty average, and yet is like blowing his mind.
Yeah,
for good reason.
It shocked him.
Without balance, this sounds like coddling.
These are comments from women.
Yeah, I'm going to just die alone. That sounds like a terrible idea. And Brittany looks to be about 28. So I bet she changes her mind. I will never respect a man. I just can't find it in me.
And then it just went on.
It just went on and on.
And he was like, oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
You know, it caught him off guard.
There's a lot of angry women out there.
Yeah.
It was correct. And it was a good video. It was a good. So
yeah, it was very instructional.
Yeah.
And, you know, his directions are in the right place. And it comes off of everything he teaches. But, you know, these women, they're not cooperating. Not all.
The male ego is so fragile.
Yeah. You get a lot of this. And none of these girls started out this way.
No.
They got pumped and dumped. They had their heart broken. Guys cheated on them. They overshot their class and went out with guys that were, you know, or slept with guys that were a couple levels above.
Yeah.
And they can't like lower their sights.
Yeah.
So they're disappointed and bitter. And then you know.
Exactly.
It's pretty crazy. And I felt bad because he generally doesn't get pushback. Like, you know, because we throw crazy stuff out there that's true, but we're not surprised when it leaks over into
I feel bad.
I
feel
know.
bad for him.
We
though.
do.
He's kind of getting beaten up.
Yeah.
I it's funny, but I feel bad. All right. Let's see what's up next here in the Twitter sphere of love. Man, that was a lot. That was a lot. Just what he actually screenshotted and took the time to up.
It's hard for me because, like I tell guys, you go out on a first date, the girl wants you to win. Most girls are hoping you'll lead them to bed.
Yeah.
That you'll have a good time. And then you see stuff like that and you're like, is it really that adversarial? Well, these girls aren't going to show up anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to bail as soon as you tease them the first time because they're so messed up.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to realize. Like if you are running game, it filters out these girls that are kind of like pots of shit. You know,
it's true.
You know,
it's true.
You don't have to worry about them showing up because they don't think they're going to have a good time. They're not going to be there.
Good point.
You know,
good point. And that coincidentally leads into the next. All right. This is from Marmot. And natural state of femininity is around the clock rejecting men. So women can engage in quite a bit of man hating without much residual damage. Can still bond easily with the right guy if she meets him. Not the same for dudes. Natural state of masculinity is around the clock trying to attract women. So if you make getting mad at women online a big part of your personality, you're in conflict with nature and damaging your soul. Won't be able to bond with a good one if you meet. What are your thoughts on that?
I like all of his stuff.
Yeah.
And one guy jumped in there, and this is where you're kind of like, I'm in the middle with this because Marmot has a good point on a lot of this stuff, especially with if you're always angry at women, it's really hard to like switch that.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was the divorce one because I pulled the divorce one where guys that are angry about the divorce bring it up and it turns women off.
It definitely does. It pulled up. So this is why, although divorced people in general have a tough time dating, divorced women have it way easier than divorced men. Almost all divorced men make people being mad at their ex a cringe part of their personality. And it's viewed neutrally by men when women do it. Whereas women get the supreme ick when men do it.
Yeah, this is the one that I meant to pull. The other one is a little bit more confusing. This is true and something that you can apply because, you know, you can kind of let the girls go. You know, they have their anger issues and they get kind of worked up. And that's understandable. But he does have a good point. If you show any type of animosity or anger, her alarm bells are going to go
It's
off.
true.
And it's hard for guys, especially if they show up to the date a couple drinks in already.
Yeah.
And it kind of starts, and the fresher it is, the worse it is. But it's simply memorize your line.
Yeah.
It's three things. We grew apart. We had our differences. We grew apart. I wish her the best. That's it.
Perfect.
Then you change the subject.
Yeah.
That's it. We
and
use them. And it just calms her down. She's like,
sure.
Oh, well, this guy's got his shit together.
He's really healthy.
Yeah. Whatever actually happened isn't important.
No.
Especially between you and her right then.
No.
You know, you're just trying to move her home, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the best thing because nothing good can come out of hashing it out.
No.
Because girls will have their own qualifying questions like how many kids do you have? But the divorce one is a big one and you can fumble it very easily. So you simply use pat can lines that really cover everything.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I suggest is that those three lines. Because any animosity, any anger, alarm bells will go off, and sometimes it can just kill the date.
Yeah.
It just kills the vibe.
Well, I mean, when you said the correct lines to me, my first thought as a female is this guy has his shit together.
Yeah.
He's not going to ruin the rest of his life because this marriage didn't last. You know,
there's no bearing on the future.
Yeah, you got it.
Well, and here's the thing. It doesn't even have to be true. For you to use those lines.
No, it doesn't.
You can fake. I mean, you can have just like walked out of court earlier that day, still fighting for custody, which is not unusual. But in this instance, this line, this is the best task to take. But and it's good that we actually dated, so you can actually verify.
Yeah.
That a lot of this stuff actually works in the field.
Well, and what I was also saying was also there's a safety standpoint there, because a girl who triggers him by saying, what happened with your marriage? And he starts getting angry. She starts getting fearful, genuinely, because you don't know this guy. You don't know what he's capable of or what. And all it takes is one girl dealing with one guy somewhere in her life who kind of gets unhinged, and not in the sexy way, that she doesn't want any part of that.
No. Anger, and it's kind of like the alcoholism.
Yeah.
If they've dealt with one alcoholic,
and
most girls have dealt with at least one.
Yeah.
You have to watch what you're drinking. You have to watch how much you drink, because it's going to set off alarm bells.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. All right, you handsome devil.
That's solid.
Rivellino, don't ask a woman direct questions about her past, about her sexual past. Instead, observe how she often curses. Notice her skin, hair, shoes, makeup, index fingers, and ask her more playful, indirect questions like, how many times have you been to Ibiza?
And this is perfect. I mean, this is, guys, the body count question has been a big deal, going.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and it can go on forever. But Rivellino, because, a lot of these guys, they are a little just brusque, or they just go, they will ask, how many guys have you slept with?
Yeah.
And they don't realize that you don't do that. You have to discern it from her. And it's just like, and I like his, Ibiza, we may even be saying this wrong, is a big place in Europe to party. It'd be like going to spring break for 3 months.
Yeah.
So how many times you've been to Ibiza? And you can also, if they go, well, I really love traveling, and I spent 6 years traveling, it's certain things. Once you've been in this little world of ours, kind of like Slut Tales, she shows up wearing leopard print, got some big ass hoop earrings, and she just got off a plane. Well, she's probably slept with a few men.
Oh yeah.
There's a chance she's not a virgin. That's the risk you take.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of discern, especially in the beginning, how experienced she is off of indirect questions.
Yeah.
And looking, using context, which unfortunately can go, tell me about this girl, and you can kind of not pose, but if she doesn't know the camera's on,
Yeah.
But a lot of guys are like, I'd have to meet her.
Yeah.
I'd have to talk to her.
There's a lot of that. I need to look her in the eyes.
Yeah.
I need to,
I need to hear her answer my questions.
Yeah.
Whereas you need to be able to look and pick up clues from just the material in front of you.
Well, and here's what's interesting to me about that is, in that vein, men all think themselves as like human lie detectors, and yet they get it wrong so much
all the time
that it's, it's almost ridiculous. It's like, now let's pick up on some of the subtle things that you can learn to pick up on through hanging out in this neighborhood and listening to the people who know what we're talking about, and flatten the curve, so to speak.
Yeah. That's funny. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I mean, that's probably a guy disease, is think you know it all.
Uh-huh.
But it's just part of, I guess it's part of testosterone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think that's fair. To the ick question. I thought this was really a good one. RP Thor. Men do not get the ick ever. So he's saying a little bit different, but that's okay. We embrace the suck. However, he asked, oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. One up from that, Alexander. A lot of the ick seems to be trivial things. Men don't talk about getting the ick much. And that's why RP Thor's like, we don't get the ick. So for men, what female behaviors do give you the ick? And there were some good answers in this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, go ahead and do we include the whole thing?
Yeah.
Give them a couple that you think are good.
Yeah.
Because contrast this with girls' ick factors. And girls will like date a guy for 6 months and then like see something like he used the wrong fork at dinner, or he blows his nose into a napkin, or he drives without a seatbelt.
Yeah.
And don't worry too much about it. I mean, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
If you don't have to, because it could be anything, you know, that's the problem. Whereas men, their ick factors is, was she covered in tattoos?
Yeah.
Is she 30 pounds overweight? I mean, these are big things. They're more like no-goes, you know, as far as like, they're just not with it.
That's
you know?
true.
And what do you find? What are some of that you found interesting?
I dated a girl who named her car was a Bronco and talked to it like a pet. Maybe not the ick, but definitely made me cringe. I know girls like that, and it always weirds me out.
That's interesting.
I'm like, that's just fucking strange.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing to do. Girls are gonna baby something. If they don't have a husband and a pet, or a husband and a baby, they're gonna baby something. So weird. Combative behavior for any reason, especially combative political engagement.
And see, these are more like no-goes. You know, these are big things. But the car thing, that truly is an ick.
Body count related stuff.
Yeah, these are big movers.
Astrology, long nails, owning a pit bull.
That's pretty ghetto. I mean, that's a lot of ghetto at one time. Yeah.
I don't see this guy attracting that kind of girl in the first place, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, maybe that's why he wanted to make sure.
Seriously. He's like, nah,
girls.
Nope. Cruel callousness. For example, a woman talking about the ways perfectly fine men have given them her the ick.
Yeah.
The ick to normie monogamous people is like jealousy to polyamory people. Astrology again. Anything unkind or callous, vindictiveness, untrustworthiness, poor self-control.
Yeah.
Those are good.
And I think that used to be like when people say, what are you looking for? Kindness is always a big one that comes up with men.
Yeah.
Because you're usually, I think, somewhere in our hindbrain, we're thinking about child rearing almost all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and a girl who's not kind is something's off.
Yeah.
You know, generally something's off.
That's very
something
true.
bad has happened.
Or they've had, you know, a mom who's kind of turned callous and mad over the years. And so or an ex-wife who's become a real cunt. Like there's all kinds of this stuff where they're just like, I just want someone nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I just want a nice girl.
And girls, or I should say women, you know, as they move through menopause, they do take on more masculine traits.
Yeah.
And the kindness does kind of go away because they're not raising kids, they're not pregnant. Whereas like you see like your 23-year-old elementary school teacher, you know, talking to the kids, you know, guys respond to that.
Absolutely.
You know, so
absolutely.
That's interesting.
What are some others that okay, this guy says I'm gonna have there's a very easy test for this. Take them on a sushi boat restaurant. If they don't understand it, you'll see it very quickly. Several girls, they just grab a bunch of stuff right away, then be confused. Oh wait, I thought this was, can I put it back? I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
Okay.
And I read it. I was like,
I thought that one was going to be really good.
So close.
Apparently, I've never been on a sushi boat.
I think the naming your car and then talking to it like a pet may be the best example.
It's good.
Anything in that realm, because I think even astrology's, you just have to like accept that girls are going to be into astrology. And I even asked Bunny last night, so define what is it about astrology and girls that they go hand in hand?
It takes the responsibility off of their shoulders.
There you go.
Period. If it's all in the stars, if it's all fate, then nothing can be her fault. Everything happens for a reason. It takes all of the onus off of her, which is exactly what she wants, which is why, and someone, when I retweeted it and said as much, a guy jumped in and said, that's why men have to lead the relationship, because that's their job, is to take that responsibility, to take the onus off the women's shoulders.
Yeah.
So then they don't have to believe in fucking astrology.
If you're waiting around for a girl to do something and you're, with you, you're going to wait forever.
Here's one for your best friend: falling in love too fast. Fort Worth's best friend calls it the look of love.
She had a look in her eyes, and I had to put her back on a plane.
Girls will fly across country, change countries to come and see Fort Worth's best friend, and he's like, she looked too serious.
Yeah, like within, she was supposed to stay like 3 days, and like they banged the first night, and then in the morning he's like, yeah, she just kept looking at me, like she was falling in love. So I had to put her back on a plane.
It's the funniest thing.
Imagine being the girl.
That is definitely him. Falling in love too fast.
All-American guy in the world, but he was not going to have it.
It's hilarious. We were just dying laughing.
He doesn't want his bachelor life messed up.
Oh man, a lot of these were deal breakers for men too. That's a good point. When they have opinions and stuff, that's pretty funny. Drinking too much, that's a definite ick. Just because most girls act so ridiculous once they reach that tipping point.
Yeah.
I think I have one in here of my, no, it's not. I thought I had one in here of my girl doing a cartwheel right at the train tracks, and then falling into the it's like, you're fucking stupid. It is a direct reflection of
how enthusiastic she is about your relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And give them examples, Bunny, because you're on the other side. What if there's something wrong? If she's not enthusiastic, what tells? Because you kind of have to balance that with girls who are kind of like uptight as it is,
right?
So what would you say is a tell that he should be concerned or aware?
Well, I think a lot of times it's when she changes her enthusiasm as much as anything. Because if she's always kind of uptight and pent up,
yeah.
Mm-hmm, then she's not ever going to show enthusiasm. Not that she can't grow into it, but like she never did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not surprising. But if she was enthusiastic and starts to pull back, and she doesn't really want to have sex when you suggest, or she's not following your sexual lead, those are huge tells that she's probably like pinning it up. She's the relationship is circling the drain, and maybe you don't know it yet.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
I'm glad I asked.
Yeah,
because a lot of times,
question.
Yeah, good.
A lot of times, what?
A lot of times, like guys will deal with the girls because girls can't talk about sex,
right?
They aren't into they're not going to initiate anything. So he's like, I guess she's never been into me,
right?
So that's how you have to look at it.
Yeah, that's very good. And on those lines, if you didn't catch it last night, Sarah Beth Urich and I launched Spicy Tea with Bunny and SB, and it was a fantastic show. We are talking about sex specifically. We are demystifying sex, And it's only a once a month show, the first hump day of every month. So Wednesday night, first Wednesday night of every month at night. It'll be streaming live on Twitter as well as YouTube. You can jump in the chat. You can ask questions. But our main focus is that she and I are both enthusiastic girls who are open to talking about sex and helping you have the best sex life you can. So we are talking to men as well as women. We want everyone to feel more comfortable, and we're great people to kind of bounce things off of. So we're all about increasing her comfort with being sexually enthusiastic for you. So we hope you will tune in on October 4th, which is our next episode. But if you want to watch last night's launch, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
And I'll convey this. You need to contrast. You should at least watch it because it's different than it actually is. Like normal girls that both work in the real world and have kids, or and have been married and had normal relationships. So they're not the girls that are on the panels protecting their reputation, and they're 23.
Yeah.
Or a 23-year-old OnlyFans girl who, doesn't know she's, just basically a byproduct, and they're not in the porn industry.
Right.
So they're actually right in the middle, yet are able to talk about sex because most of your girls can't.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're being broadcast or recorded is a whole different level. That's why you're never going to see most girls ever be honest about it.
Exactly.
So you get that's the best place to ask questions.
Yeah,
You're
it really is.
Good answers.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Howling Mutant. Oh.
I think that was just for you. I told you the last few I sent were just for you.
Oh.
Which one is this?
Oh, you've got that dripping gorilla gripper pussy. Cool story, Roasty. Now spread your asshole open.
You can talk to girls like this.
You do.
You can.
You
can talk to
do.
girls. And people are like, okay, that's
way
beyond. Yeah. But you can talk to girls that way.
You're like, I think that one was just for you. All right. Switching gears a little bit because we're finances and careers, and by highest paying, I mean high potential to earn $500K plus. And
yes. And I thought the reason I wanted to put that out there is, and I put it on my timeline to answer guys' questions.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're 20, well, actually you should be younger than that. If you're in high school about to go into college, that's when you kind of like set your sights. And from what I've learned, I'm 56. I've owned my own. I've worked for larger, fitness companies. But if you're talking about, when we talk about like employment, a physician is almost the only job that you can go into that there's guaranteed income in that range.
Yeah.
Because I even talked to the president of a medical school.
Yeah.
I said, these people are so smart that they could do anything they want to.
Yeah.
And for the investment of time for 8 or 10 years. And he said, but it's the only thing that there's a guaranteed income.
Right.
You go into investment banking, the economy treasures, that's the deal. But did you say speak up?
Yes.
Oh, was I starting to whisper?
Yes.
Oh, I guess it's me remembering something. But I can't, there's not enough brain power. So that's the point, is like, and there, it was in there. There's investment banking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like Ivy League top 25 schools.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you can test your way, and this is what we talk about, even like presidents, if you're just a regular schmo, but you can just bomb the LSAT and get into a top 10 law school.
Yeah. Bomb is in
like just
blow it out
of the water and get a top score and get yourself into a top 10 law school. Then you can go to the next level.
Yeah.
That's the big deal. That's what I've been learning about law. Well, make no mistake. I mean, you can live in Fort Worth or, in St. Louis or Orlando, Florida with a law degree and do great.
Oh yeah.
You know, but these guys are talking about top money, you know,
Yeah.
like New York City money. But literally, I think medicine is the only thing that can guarantee outside of, you know, and they said, you know, small business owners, and we know guys that own roofing companies, HVAC companies,
Oh yeah.
that make money in this realm. But man, there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
There's no
Good
guarantee.
point.
You
It's
know?
either feast or famine in
Yeah.
a lot of. So private equity and investment banking, just be
Go ahead. Go ahead.
just be a regular old software developer. I don't know how true that is anymore. I mean, he clearly knows more than I do about that. But sales is high potential, but low percentage of sales employees making 500K. I love it when people respond that they have nothing to respond. I'm like, you just wrote a fucking paragraph telling us that you don't have anything to add to this conversation.
It's like telling me you're not going to make it to the party. Tell me if you're going to make it to the party.
Lord.
One thing about the investment banking and like these top tech sales jobs that no one mentions is it helps if your dad's already there, if your uncle is CEO. Having a connection is a big, you know, these base salary of $250,000 jobs, they're not just giving it out to the best guy.
Yeah.
They're giving it out to his nephew. You know, I mean, that's because the nephew, because it's not that hard of a job.
Yeah.
You know, he can be trained.
Yeah.
You know, so.
My favorite is, and we always love these kinds of answers, own a cash flowing business.
That's right.
Really?
And, you know, with that cash flowing business, then you buy assets that throw off profit and then you rinse and repeat. Well, fuck, if I got a cash flowing business, I'm pretty set.
Yeah.
You know,
own a cash flowing business.
That will
have a high
income.
Yeah. It's like, okay, dude. Software sales again, that's interesting. Well, we've talked about like the software sales because we've known people who have cleaned up, you know, being in software sales and like tech sales to schools, to industries, you know.
Enterprise software sales.
Really good.
Again, in fact, one of the first times I met a guy, he was a client for about 6 months and he was working for Microsoft. This is 10 years ago, flying his own plane from city to city selling to schools.
Yeah.
You know, the package. And he was probably 28 or 29.
Yeah.
You know,
cleaning up.
Yeah. I mean, but again, I never really talked to him that much, but you know, for them to get in there, it's not a meritocracy. It's really who you know.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the kicker with, but again, if we're talking about just like you want to do great on a local level, roofing sales, right now in this part of the country, solar sales,
right?
These guys make 20, 30 grand a month and you can get by in Fort Worth on 30 grand a month.
No
you
shit.
Know?
No shit. Yeah. Because Fort Worth, would you say it's like second tier metropolitan area? I mean,
yeah, I guess they call it like B level or C level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's Miami, New York, and LA.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Definitely top. And then, I mean, but I would think that Dallas even would be like over as far as a metropolitan, as far as expense to live, cost of living, Dallas is certainly higher than Fort Worth.
I think it definitely is.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
So like that's where I think Dallas, Chicago, Philly.
Yeah.
Boston may be somewhere. I mean, it's definitely up there because it's got a high point of entry, high cost of entry. But you know, a lot depends on that. 500K will get you very far some places and not far at all.
Amazingly not far at all. Yeah, it's really crazy.
So everything's relative.
Because back in the day, I mean, even like before COVID, we had a friend that moved from California to outside of Austin. He was in tech and he was like one of the first moves, and he was looking for like $500,000 huge Texas homes that you could get for $500,000.
Yeah.
It was a regular house in California.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, and then it was a $200,000 house in Texas.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
It was like, okay, that's more than I need.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all relative to where you're at.
It is. We're having all the fun this morning. You pulled up some good stuff to talk about today. Fire. Oh, I think there's a lot going on, and
I hope you gather something from this. You can like pick up some shit, thread, because it also kind of like sometimes they don't look. You don't realize what's really going on.
Right.
You know, this guy was 28, very nice looking guy, but I didn't know really. I gathered it over the time of working with him, you know, and then somebody clued me in.
Yeah.
Like, he sold everything to Fort Worth. You know,
right.
And one guy.
Well, yeah. And I mean, as much as I love, you know, everyone pursuing their passions, and I truly believe that if money were of no value whatsoever, or if everyone earned the exact same to no matter what they, you know, what job they had, I honestly am one of those who believes that all jobs would be covered, because even though trash pickup is not my forte, it is someone's actually like thinking about it.
Somebody, man, some of these guys, that's all they think about.
I mean, people think about the unsexy stuff as well as the sexy stuff. So, but we don't live in that society. We live in a society that's capitalistic, and you have to earn in order to survive and provide and live the life that you want to live. So like leave the passion projects for retirement, leave the passion products for a side hustle once you're established. You know, once you have fuck you money and can do your thing, great. But until then, go where you can stand to be for the money that you want to earn. And I don't want anybody to be miserable, but you can be very happy in a mansion, or you can be very happy in a shack.
Yeah.
Which one would you rather? Like, I don't know. Triple net investor. Yes, it's 100% true. You will have a significant advantage in business if you're tall, good looking, and charismatic.
We can't control the tall or the good looking. I mean, you can improve your appearance. We can't change your height. You can. But the charisma, that's where guys game, just learning game, saying hi to everybody.
Yeah.
Being personable, you know, being out there, being social. It goes a long way.
Oh,
and then guys tend to start dressing better. And it doesn't always have to mean more pussy. It can mean more life.
Yeah.
You know, you meet more people, you get more opportunities. People want to be around you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Better business. That's so funny that I said that gorilla one. That gorilla grip pussy or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, honey, that wasn't meant for.
That's pretty funny.
That wasn't meant for the general public.
Even though it's on Twitter.
MK, which we think the world of Sam K, being in the fitness realm. Imagine you have the typical 55-year-old contractor coming in for a consult, wanting to get in shape. He drinks, eats gas station food, works long hours, busy as fuck. And you young bro tell him, walk 10,000 steps, drink water, get sunlight, and journal. He's going to laugh in your, I'm going to add fucking face. I
love Sam. Sam runs a starting strength gym.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I think he bases most of his training off of. In what is it? Is it Idaho City, Idaho?
Falls.
Idaho Falls. I mean, yeah, it's a nice medium-sized
somewhere
town
that we want to live.
And he had always worked with athletes before this.
Yeah.
And I guess the last 2 or 3 years, and he started with a micro gym. I mean, if you're into gyms, follow him because he's growing his. But he truly, this is what we experience in our business.
Yeah.
You work with the general public. They're in terrible shape.
Yeah.
They can barely walk across the parking lot. And we're talking about like a 35-year-old guy who's just 40, 50 pounds overweight.
Right.
They're sweating and huffing and puffing, just walking across the parking lot to get to the door.
Yeah.
You know, and guys are like, oh, I probably have them deadlifting and, you know, overhead press and, you know, jump squats on the first day. You know, no.
Completely
it's completely different. It's completely different working with the general public. But this is true. When you're working with a guy that owns an HVAC company, he's actually backing the guys up.
Yeah.
And he comes in at 6 a.m, but he was on a roof till 1 a.m.
Exactly.
You have to adjust your training.
This is a real world scenario.
He's not journaling. He's not drank any water since yesterday.
No.
You know, these are, and when you work with the real people, you can't use fitness stuff on them.
Yeah.
You know, you have to first, you just got to get them showing up.
Yeah.
We don't even talk
about consistency is the first real hurdle.
We don't even talk about nutrition anymore. We used to kind of like do everything at once.
Yeah.
And then we learned about 6 years ago, we just started the first month, just focus on getting here to every appointment.
Yeah.
Because there's enough things, there's enough resistance. There's inevitably, and we work with a lot, thousands of people. There's always something that comes. My car didn't start.
Grandma
died. My kid's sick. But to focus in and start learning to overcome any obstacles to get there.
Yeah.
Because that's the bottom line. I mean, that's why I trained for 40 years. Because I just kept showing up.
Exactly.
That's the only difference.
Exactly.
You know, so just showing up. And Sam's got a good point here. Is he just needs to get him under the bar.
Yeah.
Get him under the bar 3 times a week. Adds 5 pounds once a week.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry about the rest of the stuff initially.
And another guy in fitness that we really heavily respect, AJ Cortez. Why men should lift weights. And I'm going to see if I can make this bigger so I can read it and you can. It's a win-win. Lift weights. Oh, mercy. This is the most obvious and I'd say easiest habit to start. Man is meant to be heroic and muscular. If you're not, unfuck yourself immediately and fix this. Your ancestors didn't fight, bleed, and die for 100,000 generations so you could survive in the 21st century looking like a pale rat fetus with the muscle tone of a quadriplegic. Get your shit together for fuck's sake. That's really good. That's gold.
It's really good.
I love
AJ's
that.
worked with them all. I think he's been in LA. I think he's worked with celebrities. He's worked with the general public.
Clearly.
Yeah, he's definitely worked with the general public. But it's funny because, see, this is one of those things where, like, I stumbled on it. You know, my best friend, said, hey, you want to go to the gym with me at school?
Yeah.
We were in, like, meet me in the summer.
And your best friend, his dad was
a coach.
For the
football program. So when I was like 14, going to be 15, that summer, I started lifting weights. But I realized really quickly that there was something really interesting going on. I was tall and skinny, and it's dangerous, just being tall and skinny. And I thought, this could change things, and so I stuck with it.
Yeah.
But starting that really had such a profound change. And it's just this one thing, because people always go, lifting. And then we're in the gym business, and we have been most of our lives, unless we were like sidetracked temporarily. But you start thinking everybody does this, when in fact, no one does it. Like less than 1% of the population actually exercises.
Right.
An even smaller part lifts, on a regular basis. So you think everyone does it, and they don't. You're an anomaly,
Yeah.
But it is a game changer.
And make no mistake, with his percentages here, more people have gym memberships, but they don't actually use it.
They don't use it. No. And even when a big gym like LA Fitness or 24-Hour Fitness looks at a city, they do their projections at less than 1% of the population exercising. I mean, that's how profound it is.
Yeah, that's the real deal.
It just goes 10%, and 10% of your membership base. So you have 1,000 people on your membership base, 100 will show up consistently.
That's pretty sad.
And
it's sad, but true.
It never varies. I mean, there's some gyms that do a little bit better, but it's temporarily.
Yeah.
Usually it'll be like for 3 to 5 years, they have a unique, they're in the unique place at a unique time.
Yeah.
So that's the real deal.
Well done.
Thanks.
Great show, baby. And I love that we were able to stream live on Twitter today. On X.
Yes.
That was awesome.
We love being here.
Yeah.
We love being right in front of it. And so if you're getting into dating, or you've been through a breakup, you've been through a divorce, I've got a product called Fast Track. Is it Fast Track? I can't remember. I've been pushing it so long now.
The Fast Start Dating Bundle.
Fast Start Dating Bundle.
I'm like, I don't know.
It has Bunny. 3 out of 4 books are Bunny. So
it's actually my Fast Start Dating Bundle.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding.
The online dating handbook. My product, where let's see, is it your dating blueprint?
Yeah, probably.
Show you how to build it up. And then one more, and then
Fuck like a porn
Fuck
star.
Like a Porn Star. So we take you from the beginning to the end.
That was not
What
our
am I
best.
missing?
That was not
That's
our
not my
best
best pitch.
I think I don't know what it has in it, honey.
I
But
should have reviewed it before.
yeah, probably so. Probably
Next
so.
time.
But it is a great if you are hitting the ground running, either maybe you've always been in high school, college, you've always just been surrounded by girls, and now you're not. And you're like, oh, well, how are you supposed to meet girls now? Because now, you're working a normal job, you're being an adult, and you're running into that. Fast Start Dating Bundle is a great thing. I think it has confidence in it. I think it has online dating in it. I think it has.
That's the big four.
Yeah.
Online dating, you don't have to use it, but it gives you some basics. Self-confidence handbook, how to build
your dating system.
Blueprint. Yeah. And then Fuck Like a Porn Star.
Or if you just gotten your teeth kicked in by a divorce, a breakup of some kind, any kind of long-term relationship where it's gone now and you need to start over, which is not necessarily something you wanted to do. Great. It's a great bundle.
Oh yeah.
It's a great bundle.
It'll give you hope.
Yeah.
If you're like, shit, I don't even know where to start, which it's the culmination of two people, probably 2 decades of experience, on how to start from A and go all the way to the end.
And if you want to check that out, it's at fortworthplayboy.gumroad.com/faststart. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your eyes. We do not take it lightly that you have spent an hour with us live on air or after the fact, but we genuinely appreciate your time, and we hope that you get some real quality
value,
some value out of what we have to offer.
Thanks for watching. Your time is very valuable and important to us, and we appreciate it.
Bye. I love it.